So I've just come away from Senate Square, where the protest of something or other is coming along nicely. Been in the City Museum, saw the cathedral, saw the oldest stone building and probably the oldest building still standing in Helsinki, the Söderholm House. And now I'm just heading along Alexandrin Katu, follow the trams west, and there's a bit of a sort of well-known place here for kind of the cheapest lunch you're going to find in Finland, unless you're just going to be buying pastries from a supermarket, for example. That might turn out cheaper. The place is called Rack's Buffet. It's now got Burger King right in the middle of it, but downstairs in Rack's Buffet, that's where you need to head to. Don't get caught up in going to Burger King, because if you do, you'll be paying more. But it's an all-you-can-eat lunch for about, I think it's 11 euros. That's the famous lunchtime special deal. If you like pizza and salad, you can eat as much as you want. If you want something hot, want to get out of the cold perhaps, or out of the heat at lunchtime, depending on the season you're visiting Helsinki, you'll be surrounded by lots of locals as well. Yep, it definitely looks like Helsinki Central is getting a facelift. Isn't that a nice doorway? And Helsinki refuses to be outdone by Tallinn or any other Nordic city for attractive doorways and decorative half-naked ladies. In statue form, sculpture form, I should point out. And over the tram line at number 44, by contrast to the ladies, we've got some bears looking a bit grim, and bear cubs as well, I think. And who are these characters? They've got to be famous, haven't they? Pohjola. And yes, 2 heads, 2 feet, 3 toes per foot. Maybe something from Finnish mythology. Got to go in here and just get a picture of that doorway as well. And more gargoyle faces. That's what I call nice. Here's Aino Lino, if that's how you pronounce it. Not kitchen floor lino, not Jay Leno, but Aino Lino. Somebody, well, noteworthy from Finnish antiquity, no doubt. Otherwise he wouldn't have a statue built to him. So whether he died a hero or wrote heroic literature, I'm not sure. And here, 2 naked ladies. Again, I'm not too sure about the symbolism. One's holding a bird, the other one's holding something I can't make out, but perhaps just an excuse for the artists to draw attention through notoriety as much as talent. All your Finnish souvenirs. I like that t-shirt. Send more tourists. The last ones were delicious. Moomin face mask. Lapland mug. Oh, and the Moomin characters. 20 euros for a Moomin. Made from wood by the look of it. Just to give you a flavour of the kind of souvenirs you might expect to get in Helsinki. So guess what I found? That's right, Moomins. Downstairs in the huge Forum, that's spelled F-O-O-R-U-M, shopping mall, is a small Moomin shop. In lieu of a museum, I'm going to go in and have a look. But I probably can't film, so I'll turn it off. So the good news is that Forum is just one street west of the main train station. The bad news is that when I saw the prices of the souvenirs in the Moomin shop, I thought I was going to be in need of a defibrillator. Anyway, as I suspected, I didn't spend any money in there. Yes, there were lots of things I would have liked to have bought for myself and for gifts for others. Never mind. I indulged myself for 2 minutes. Also in that Forum shopping mall, you will find an alternative for lunch or even breakfast or tea time, because they do have a supermarket which has reasonably priced, I say reasonably priced, not badly priced at all, pastries. So if you don't want the relatively inexpensive, for Helsinki, pizza and salad, all you can eat lunch option at Rax, instead you can pop into Forum, go into the supermarket and see what you can find among the pastries and sandwiches to suit your needs. That's for those of you who might not be on a day trip from Tallinn, because obviously if you are on a day trip from Tallinn, you'll have done the sensible thing and brought all your snacks with you, just to save a few euros. But I know that the best laid plans and all that, and even if you do buy food in advance, if you put it in the hostel fridge, very well labelled, it's no guarantee that you're going to find it's there come the morning, and yeah, you've got an early ferry to catch to Helsinki, your food's been nicked. What do? It's happened to the best of us and the worst of us, hopefully, if you believe in karma. Anywho, there's a big man on a big horse. I'm now walking, I guess you'd call it northwestward out of the city. And the aim is to hopefully catch the tram museum before it closes. An odd looking sculpture thing. So I'm now heading to the tram museum. I think that's open till 5, so I should be okay. It's not very big, unfortunately. Not particularly well stocked with old trains and wagons and things to look at outside either. But it's something, and I haven't been in a tram museum for a little while, so why not treat myself? That's what I thought. Costs nothing. It's just going to be about a 40-minute walk. Did I just say 40 minutes? Well, it may be a bit less. And the thing is, why it's worth doing this walk, I think, is because of the things you see along the way. So I could shoot up there on a tram, but you know, I would have, if I planned to do that, I would have bought the all-day card, which I didn't do. So instead, I'll be able to walk up there and just pause when I want to film things like this. I'm filming a television crew. That's a bit obscure, isn't it? Why would I want to do that? We have Helsinki's and Finland's premier music centre for those who are serious students of music. Right opposite, the Kyösti Kallio statue. Again, my ignorance. Perhaps I'd be better off popping into the green flashing lit Happy Jazz Club instead. But I think it's a little bit early, and also, that's right, I hate jazz. The clouds are gathering, as you can see, and it feels like there's a possibility of rain on the way. But I'm not deterred. We're looking now at the National Museum of Finland. Previously, that big long building was the National Parliament building. Unfortunately, if I wanted to go into the National Museum of Finland, I'd have to stump up 15 euros. I think I'll take the free tram museum, if that's okay with you. And if you were hoping to visit or just view from the outside of another building of some note in Helsinki, Finlandia Hall, you can forget it. Unfortunately, it's absolutely covered in, I'm not sure what it is, polythene, a load of renovation going on en masse. So, like a hell of a lot of Helsinki at the moment, money's pouring into the renovation of historic buildings, which I'm not adverse to at all, really. Perhaps I shouldn't say that, but I'm happy that noteworthy buildings are preserved. But it seems that, yeah, there must be a heck of a lot of people working in the building trade making some money and finding there are plenty of jobs on offer. Right, where's that tram museum? Ironically, across the road is the National Opera House, which is one building I would gladly see absolutely wrapped in cling film and covered with scaffolding for its entire life. When you think of Opera House, you think of something grand, don't you? What were they thinking? Public toilet convenience, white tile decor, cladding the outside. Still, it's the music that counts, isn't it?
so maybe the actual performances rock. Anyway, still on the way to the Tram Museum. If you're interested in knowing a little bit about local bar prices, here at Fellows Bar, I'm guessing that's beer. Half a litre is going to cost you ballpark figure of €6, say, which isn't as expensive as I thought. Not that I drink beer. This is more my kind of scene, I guess. Fresh records, garbage, or just fresh garbage. Looks like a cool little place. I don't know what the interior's like. It looks promising, doesn't it? Yeah, a little... Shall I use the word bespoke? I will. There's nobody here to stop me, so I will. A bespoke vinyl shop. If only I had more time. If only I had a record player. I made it to the Tram Museum, and I thought I'd made a mistake when I got to the entrance, because outside there were absolutely dozens of small children with their parents, and a lot of balloons which had been fashioned into the shape of dachshunds and you know, the sort of thing. And I thought maybe I'm in the wrong place, or maybe I won't be allowed because it's a special event, but it looks as though alles gut. Something strange about this camera compared to the other one. Even though it does record better indoors, you really have to stand back a long way from things, because the zoom is almost a super zoom. In fact, I don't need to zoom it, because it just brings things so much closer than they actually are. Whereas my little action camera, the Acaso one, that films as though things are much further away than they are. You need plenty of room indoors to step back to make a little video. My expectations are low for this place because of what I've read online. Doesn't mean to say it's not a good place, not a good museum, far from it. It simply means that it's on the small side. So you can't come expecting a huge amount of items to view, either in glass cases or on makeshift tracks. But we've got three little nice old wagons here. I guess the children have been working on some drawings of, or colouring in drawings of trams, and learning the tram route, various tram routes probably, because I think they've got several lines here in Helsinki. No, I know they have. And what can we see close up? A ghostly apparition of a bald man's head. Maybe he was the ticket collector, or the man who drove the engine. Simple basic seating, that's the way we like it, nothing too comfy. Nice. And through here there's a stage, so it must be a multi-purpose building, I suppose. I wonder what's through there. I feel uncomfortable with so many children around, and I've got a camera that I'm filming, so I'll just turn it off. It looks as though there must be something special about today, given the number of little children here with their parents. Anyway, it's kind of fun. It just means I'm a bit limited in what I feel comfortable in filming. I've just boarded one sort of simulator. It's the one right in front of us here, the green and yellow tram, and at the front you can get a view, basically a running old film of the view from the window of the tram, like 100 years ago, if it was going around Helsinki, what I would have seen, which would have been nice to have enjoyed just on my own, you know, selfish tourist. We always want things just to ourselves, don't we? But anyway, a young boy gave me this ticket and then insisted on stamping it, clipping it, making sure it's official, so that says I am definitely a member of the Ratiko Museo, or the Tram Museum of Helsinki, and I get free transport on all old trams I might see going along the tracks. No, it doesn't mean that, unfortunately. Anyway, let's see if I can film a little bit more discreetly. Oh, we got one here which must have been chilly. Looks like an open air one, open to the air. Perhaps a very early example of a tram, I would imagine. God, imagine your backside on that hard wooden seat. On the other hand, who knows, until you try it, might be a whole lot better than walking in winter. Tram traffic is electrified. Now, I can't really get access to see the notice boards to get the historical information I would like. Never mind. We've got some posters here. Always nice to have posters. Oh, and there's a notice board right behind me I didn't see. Small pets are best carried in the lap, and larger ones travel by the footwell. I think that's good advice. Oh no, there used to be signs on the trams that banned dogs from travelling on them. Today, dogs, cats and other pets are allowed on public transport if they do not cause harm to other passengers. No fare is charged for pets. Oh, that's interesting. What about the signs we've seen with the big no line crossed through it? The image of the black West Highland Terriers. I wonder if they're allowed on the trams. Yeah, I don't think they ought to try it. There's a nice old picture, isn't there? Nice old picture of an absolutely crammed full mostly men for some reason. Anyway, that's how you travelled. You didn't even get to sit down very often, probably. Half the time you'd have to stand on this open to the air tram wagon. Never mind. And then before they electrified the trams, they were horse-drawn. And here's an example of a horse-drawn one. Nice. Okay, I think I found my favourite wagon. It may have gone a bit slow and been horse-drawn, but I wouldn't have been in a hurry. Get on the horse-drawn tram, sit on the bench and look around you. Which 5 things are different from modern trams? I didn't expect to see so many things, actually.
If I'd continued in this direction, it would have taken me to the Olympic Stadium. 1952 Olympics were held in Helsinki, of course. The Olympic Stadium's still there, but it's not really up to much from a tourist's point of view. Not worth the effort, I would say, unless you're staying in the Olympic Stadium hostel, which I did some years ago. Interesting experience. Some idiot decided they couldn't go outside to smoke, and in the middle of the night smoked in one of the bathrooms, and the fire brigade came because the fire alarms were set off. So sleepless night for everybody. Yeah, I remember that. I did have another good night's rest in the hostel though, but I digress. There's also a large tower there from which you're supposed to be able to get panoramic views of the city as a whole, but its reputation really isn't deserved. Not worthwhile going up there for a tourist, I wouldn't say, unless your ambition is to visit every single stadium that's held the Olympic Games over the last 130 years. Just thinking out loud, so no, not going up there. I think my best bet is put the camera away. Hopefully these spits of rain won't develop, and I'll take it back up again when we're closer to the centre. And of course, 50 metres later, I see one of these. Something you don't see every day. Before entering the building, please wipe the muck from your shoes. Well, 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 there's a throwback. Didn't think they made them anymore, but they do here in Helsinki. Probably not available on Amazon, but I could be wrong. Well, that's a nice trick if you can do it. Three-legged man, symbol of the Isle of Man, but with gender equality, it seems, it's become the Isle of Woman. Interesting. Only in Finland. Now, I'm really not sure I want to put in an offer for this derelict house, but that old car, yeah, it definitely caught my eye. And who would have knew? Because I didn't think I'd come to Helsinki to look at apartments and homes, villas, mansions, or old decrepit cars. Just goes to show. Here's a building which just about everybody who comes to Helsinki can't avoid spotting, even if they're not interested in using the rail service. It's the central train station in Helsinki. Whether it's the architecture or the grim-faced, bare-chested men on the outside, I don't know what it is, but it seems it's like Marmite. You either love it or you hate it. From what I've read, there are people who really find this building to be wholly inappropriate and out of keeping, and others who admire it and see it as an example of sort of strength in nationhood. It was knocked up in Helsinki about 100 years ago, just over. And I suppose that time of independence or nearing independence will have played a part in the architect's ideas and the city's ideas also, in terms of what they wanted to see as a symbolic major statement, not just a train station. I think it's handsome enough and different enough, so I'm in favour. And then you come inside and it's all rather underwhelming. Oh well. Just to the side and behind the train station, this grand looking building, Seems as though it's a theatre which also houses something called a lava clubby. It looks like straight serious theatre to me. So unless you know Finnish, I think you might struggle to have a night's entertainment in that place. And who's hiding behind these trees? I'm going to guess it's that man Runeberg again, the national poet. But I could be wrong. And of course I am. I've just seen it's 15 degrees and 4:45 in the afternoon. Not bad. I can live with that. So the man's name is Alexis Kivi. He's got angst written over his face. Yeah, he was probably somber, languid, screenplay writer, morose, and perhaps took his own life. But I'll have to look that up just to clarify the history of the man, because I did make that up, of course. And facing straight opposite for art lovers, and aren't we all art lovers? Depending on what you fancy, you might find something in here which you find absolutely superb, something which you weren't expecting, something you've never seen before. That's the joy of going to a very different country to your own, different culture. You never know what you'll find in the museums. And this is, I believe, well, there's the Kiasma. That's possibly the most famous museum, the Modern Art, Contemporary Art Museum. But a lot of people would say, no, the old established Athenaeum Museum here in front of us. This is the real #1 museum in Helsinki. If you've got enough time, if you've got enough money, then you can explore both of those avenues to satisfy your thirst for art. I'm just going to admire the tram in front and also admire the building itself. Don't know who the figures are. From this distance, to me, they almost look like they could be a king with a queen and a son who became king after him. But I haven't a clue. Now, I think I'm looking for a room with a view, and I've heard of the right place to find that, if I can get there.